Hey there. Today I'm going to take you through a really basic fundamental exercise. I'm going to show you a bilateral single arm row as well as a bilateral single arm press using the cable machine. Okay, so pretty simple, okay, theoretically, but I mean conceptually it can get a little bit complicated, so I'm going to try and just name some main tension points that you're going to want to focus on in order to maintain a strong structural integrity, and then we can just start to work the benefits of the single arm action, okay? If you have access to something like a yoga block, I think they're pretty useful. A yoga block, a foam roller, something that's about 6 to 8 inches wide that you can place in between your thighs, okay? This is going to help keep my pelvis square so that when I'm starting to encourage a little bit of rotation in the rib cage, in the thoracic region, I can basically kind of quiet down everything from my low back south, and I can just focus on good, clean movement with my upper body, okay? So I'm going to take my cable machine, I'm keeping the block in between my thighs, all right? And what I want you to do from there is create a little bit of a posterior shift. So you don't want to be standing tall, kind of leaning back, shifting the pelvis forward. I'm going to bring my pelvis back. Okay, I'm going to try and neutralize my low back, so for me it's going to be a little bit more of a posterior tilt. All right, that way I'm kind of decompressing, taking space or creating space on my lumbar spine, and then I'm engaging my lower abdominals. Okay, I'll walk the handle out of the cable machine a bit. I have the posterior shift. I have a bend in my knees. All right, my left arm is forward. My right arm is right by my side at a right angle. Okay, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to slowly start to pull and then push. That's it. Okay, you'll notice I'm only pulling to about 90 degrees or right to the middle of my rib cage. That's as far as is necessary for this exercise. Okay, so I re-extend. All right, now same thing. I'm keeping pressure on my thighs. All right, small posterior tilt. I'm even thinking about a strong exhale, so I'm trying to kind of sandwich my navel towards my spine. I'm going to pull with that elbow, and I'm going to reach with the opposite arm. Okay? All right, and then as you get into kind of the minute points here, you're going to make sure you have a slight protraction and elevation of your scapula. All right, I'm going to pull and push. That's it. Okay, now, let's say you wanted to make this a little bit more challenging. I'm going to get rid of the block. Okay, same thing, left hand on. I'm going to step my left foot back into a staggered stance position. So staggered stance, you can't see it in the video, but my back toe and my front heel are about 18 inches apart, 12 to 18 inches. I'm going to lean forwards. Okay, I'm going to turn my hips toward my lead leg. Right, and then as I'm squeezing the floor with both of my feet, okay, I'm going to start to pull with my left, reach with my right. That's it. All right, if you want a little bit more glute activation, you're going to try and sit into your back pocket of the front leg. You want to get into toe extension on the back foot, so get your heel high. And that's the whole movement. Okay? So it doesn't have to be overly complicated, but you are trying to encourage a little bit of oppositional rotation. So that's what that block in between my thighs did. When I was over here pulling, okay, with my left arm, I had the block in between my thighs to keep my pelvis staying square, so that when I did a row with my left arm and my rib cage wanted to rotate left, you don't want the pelvis to go with it. You actually want to try and encourage the pelvis to rotate right as the rib cage rotates left. Okay, so it's just a matter of understanding this counter rotation of the body, and that happens with every single step you take. The pelvis rotates one way, the rib cage rotates another, the head rotates another way, and trying to kind of smooth out and improve these connections in between the three cavities, which is going to be the pelvic cavity, the thoracic cavity, and the cranium. Okay, so this was the single arm row in a bilateral and a unilateral stance. You can also do the same thing in a pressing position. Again, I'm going to grab that yoga block, put it between my adductors. Okay, I'm going to turn around. Okay, I want to shift my pelvis back a bit, try to flatten my low spine. All right, you'll see my elbow is right underneath my armpit. Okay, left arm's going to reach forward. All right, and then I'm just going to press, and that's it. Okay, bring my arm back, neutralize my rib cage, slight elevation, protraction of the shoulders, reach the one arm forwards, and I press. If you want to make it a little bit more advanced, you take that same side hand. I'm going to bring so I'm on the right hand's on the cable, right leg is back, I'm in a staggered stance position. My spine is about 30 degrees over my front leg. I'm pinching my feet together, okay? I'm turning my hips toward my front leg, all right? And then I'm just going to press and reach. One hand forward. Right, and as I press, I encourage that pelvis to rotate left a little bit more. All right, so these are basic movements you can do on your own. They obviously don't start to get into the basics behind the basics, but what I mean by that is, like, when you're working with myself or another biomechanics trainer, they're going to get you into positions that are a lot harder to hold. Okay, that you can't necessarily do on your own, but in the meanwhile, the more of the compound simple movements that you can practice on your own to learn how to associate tension points are going to be these two movements. Just remembering to keep your navel in, a slight posterior shift of the pelvis, all right, and always thinking about oppositional rotation as well as squeezing the floor together with your feet to get some of that ground force tension moving up your legs into your pelvis. So yeah. Go ahead, give it a try, and thanks so much.